Ryan Hollins with us. How are you tonight, Ryan?
Well, what is going on, brother?
It's good to talk with you. We're watching the in-season tournament here, and Jerry is not a huge fan of some of the crazy courts that we're seeing, Ryan. I know you're an NBA guy. What do you think this thing's going to fly, this in-season tournament?
I think it's a unique way to increase the competitive level of the league. And right now, I get it. I understand both sides. The players understand their value, but we also know it's basketball. You're paid a lot of money to go and play the game. So the league is saying, hey, we'll meet you in between, in the middle, and they're trying to find ways that make these guys want to compete, make them want to play hard. I know the funny thing is, guys would, and I'm not going to say names, some guys would hate to come to practice and play ball and do something that's their job. But if we made a $5 bet over making a shot, you see guys put their heart and soul into it, right? So maybe the mindset between this not a $5 tournament, I don't want to say that, right, but this play-in tournament that may not be an NBA championship, and it's very popular over in Europe, the little mini championships and cups, can give a team something to hang their hat on, and it could come with a great value to the league, and especially with the TV rights.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind, Jer.
Well, I should, but mine's closed, so we'll see. Ryan, what do you think of with a new coach there and some veterans added to the roster? Are you optimistic about what you're seeing and going to see?
I'm extremely optimistic. I think the one thing that we're seeing in Houston right now is accountability, and these guys, make no mistake, they got to get used to Coach Ime Udoka. It's a different style. And I guess I'd liken it a little bit to kind of like a college basketball style. And I say it in a way of there's accountability. The coach is the lead guy on the team. I don't want to say rather than the players, but coach's word means something. And sometimes in college, it takes players a while to get used to coach's system. And I think we saw it over in Boston. I think we're seeing it in Houston now, where the Rockets are kind of getting used to what Coach Ime Udoka wants. And if I'm mistaken, when Ime first got there in Boston, they lost their first couple games. And then when they kind of figured out what he was asking of them, what he wanted them to bring to the table, the team got rolling. So I expect the same here in Houston. But make no mistake, man, the first beginning of the season, man, the league didn't do us any favors, man. I mean, it's Sacramento, Denver, Pelicans, Lakers. Like, there's no nights off here. So, this young Rockets squad is going to get put to the fire immediately.
Yeah, Ryan Hollins with us. And to that point, Ryan, it's funny because we know that part of the in-season tournament is designed to try to make these games early in the season important. But in the West, the Kings right now, the Rockets, I mean, it's so compacted. Every game is important already, tournament or not. So after starting 1-3, how big are these next two games against the Kings for your Rockets?
They're everything. And we've been talking about this. You looked at this Charlotte game essentially as a must-win because in all reality, you could lose these games because you're playing a team that's contending for a championship. All these teams are contenders that the Rockets are going to see, so there's no easy nights off. And the one thing we know, it's always hard to beat a team twice. And last year, the Rockets didn't end up getting any of those wins against the Kings, but, I mean, it came down to a hair. Remember, I mean, Eric Gordon, I'm thinking of a fingernail hit. Hit the Kings and ended up giving up those game-winning free throws. So at the end of the day, man, I don't think there's any easy outs. I don't care who's on the other side. It's always hard to beat a team twice. And one thing the Rockets, I think what's interesting, Whitey, that we'll really look for is the Rockets love to play fast at that frenetic pace. And the Kings are going, hold on, man, this is a team that likes to play just as fast as we do. And the Rockets seemingly had the Kings' number, played them extremely well last year. And this is the team that moves the basketball a little more, doesn't play as fast. And I want to see if that same level of, even though it wasn't a win, I'd like to say that the Rockets had a lot of success against the Kings and see if that, pans out in this matchup coming up.
Yeah. How about this, Ryan? Have you been able to teach, I'm a big Şengün guy. Have you yet been able to teach him the hook shot? I know you were working on that, trying to teach Alperen Şengün that Skyhook. I know that the efforts didn't get off to a great start. Where are we now with that, sir?
Whitey, listen, I told you that, and I was laughing because as soon as I came in studio, the first thing you were trying to do is teach me a skyhook. And I think I laughed at you because every old lover of the NBA game, the first thing they would do is learn the skyhook, big fella. And we should have seen Whitey getting his post position and leading with his elbow, keeping his elbow high and shielding his body and getting that skyhook off. And when Shingun came across, I don't know why I naturally went to the skyhook to teach him the skyhook, and it was just like it just flowed. It felt like everything was aligned in the universe when I did it. And you know what's funny? You'll get a laugh out of this. He goes, "I'd rather shoot, like the other shot. It's like a push shot, little push hook, 2 feet." And he tells me that's natural. And about a game or two ago, I was laughing because he pulled the skyhook out in the game, dude, and I kid you not, and it was so fluid and natural. And I kid you not, Whitey, he shot the skyhook. I saw it with my own eyes, dude.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's the skyhook. Yeah, and it was a legit skyhook, and it was over. I think like Mark Williams or one of the shot blockers, and I'm like, that's the shot. That's the shot.
JaVale McGee has dusted off a couple of those already this year. I mean, legitimate skyhook.
Yeah, which I didn't really know he had.
I didn't either.
I mean, he's always had kind of the big sweeping hook, but
yeah. Ryan, how about Dillon Brooks? I mean, so far, I know you guys haven't won as many games as you'd like, but it seems like he's earning his paycheck so far.
Dillon Brooks is really, really good. We got a skill in Dillon Brooks, and I knew his offense was there. Some people may have questions his shot selection at times, but he's knocking down the shots. I don't think he's even being set up properly. I think he's just stepping in rhythm. He was excellent this summer for Team Canada, and he's been a breath of fresh air. But like, he does so many little things on the floor that you love, and I'm irritated with it. But I guess it's part of the territory. They keep showing these clips like Dillon Brooks isn't a good defender. Dillon Brooks is like locking everybody up. And every so often a guy will hit a shot or, it looks like a highlight shot because he'll gamble, he'll reach, he'll do all those things, man. But his minutes, his value, he's probably leading the team in plus minus with what he's been able to do on the floor, man. But it's been special.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Hollins, our guest here, is with the Rockets. They're fine TV analyst. As much as the Rockets have struggled with rebounding, Ryan, why aren't you on the active roster?
I don't shoot threes, Roddy. We left that in Sacramento, man. We left that in my Sacramento days. The three-pointer wasn't something. I was working on skyhooks, not keeping in my range and getting my legs under my threes. My days are done there, man.
What is it like for that? You guys have so much young talent. I mean, Jalen Green is a phenomenal talent. Jabari Smith Jr. And as you said, I guess you addressed this earlier. I mean, with a new coach, these young guys, they're trying to assimilate the veterans and at the same time figure out a little more structure from a veteran coach, right? Well,
yeah. Instead of, our young guys were thinking about how can they get their shot last year. And sometimes it's tough for players. There's rare guys that just can, the LeBrons that you just put the ball in LeBron's hand and everything gets figured out. So our guys are now saying, well, how do we give Coach Udoka what he wants? How do I get my shots within the offense? How do I make a certain play or two? So I think that's what our guys are right now kind of getting used to doing. So that's the fun part, and I think it's going to pay off in the long run. But everything's been a lot easier for Jalen Green, easier for Shingun. And, the one thing that the Rockets want to do is find ways to play through Shingun. And, it's funny. He seemed like he was the odd man out, so to speak, with Coach Udoka, was defensive-minded and ball movement and all this. And he's been running through Shingun really heavy. Alfie's been the Rockets' best player so far this season. And I think that it's been a breath of fresh air. But, he's really been the guy, the most consistent. I mean, he's been defending. He's been much better on the on the defensive end of the floor. And if he can keep up this play, man, I'm intrigued with where he can take this ball club.
Ryan, we'll let you go on this one. As always, appreciate your time very much. And I know you're focused on the Rockets now, but of course you were here for a while when things weren't going as well for the franchise. And then last year, the Kings turning it around and snapping that playoff drought. What was that like as a former King to see things finally headed in the right direction for the Sacramento Kings?
I was so happy, not just for Vivek and the players, but the city. You know, it's been a long time. And when Sacramento is rocking, man, it's really special. And I think the one thing Vivek has been able to do is he's got all the other teams in the league going, man, we got to step it up. Hold on, that whole thing is solar powered and self sufficient and all that. And the rest of the league is going, man, we got to step up and match what's going on there. But it was really cool. And like, I'm like, Sacramento's like hip. Sacramento's like fun. Like 50 cents at the game, stuff is going on. So I just think it was fun to see because it's been a long time and you can feel the energy in the arena in the city.
Well, thank you, especially on a Friday night. You got a game tomorrow. Appreciate your time very much, Ryan. You're the best. Enjoy the games, not too much. You know, we're hoping that things go the Kings' way, but enjoy the games. Have a good call. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Hey, you guys sound great. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ryan Hollins, former Sacramento King, former many teams. Yeah.
Many.
To his credit. I mean, he hung around the league a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's, the old saying is find a way to stay in the league. And, if you do, then you can have a nice career. And he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just had two very nice conversations on the last hour with two former Kings. Eddie Johnson joined us to talk about his days with the coach who loves him. And that's obviously mutual. In fact, I just thanked Eddie for coming on, and he just said, I love him. So obviously you don't need me to tell you, but you got a big fan of Eddie Johnson. Obviously that's mutual. And